Good evening, everybody. Hope you've all had a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. Before the council business this evening, I have great pleasure in presenting the Whitley Bay Town Cup. Established back in 1954 by the former Whitley Bay Borough Council, the trophy is now awarded on an annual basis to an individual or organisation that has taken part in or brought about an outstanding event during the 12 months ending in September each year. The recipients are decided upon by the Town Cup subcommittee comprising of Whitley Bay ward councillors. This year, the very worthy recipient is Beach Access North East, a charity which aims to promote social inclusion and independence for disabled and elderly people. They provide a variety of beach walkers and safety matting at locations in Whitley Bay, as well as Newbiggin, Blythe and Seaton Carew. The sheer beauty of our northeast coastline is something the majority of us take for granted, while still trying to keep it a secret. This charity and its volunteers ensure the enjoyment of our coastline is extended to those who would otherwise struggle, if not be totally prevented from getting onto the sand. It gives me great pleasure to present the Whitley Bay Town Cup to Beach Access North East.
Just to say thank you for this award. I've had the pleasure of being the president of the charity for a couple of years now, and the work to do is amazing, and just seeing the difference it makes to people's lives to be able to get on the beach with their families. And it really makes people feel like they're included in this life. And when you can get next to the city in a wheelchair, it really does break down so many barriers. And I'm really great for inclusion on a lot of levels. So I really want to say, well done to the charity. I'm really proud to be your president and keep up the good work.
Andy, who's one of our trustees, would like to say a couple of words.
Yeah. I would like to thank you very much for awarding us with this prestigious trophy. It's a great honour. Beach Access has changed my life. Ever since I joined it, it's just everything I do now, I do for Beach Access. Now I'm now able to go on the beach on a personal basis, and it's lovely to get down there with my friends and family and just run along the sand. It's like totally changed my life, and it will do for many wheelchair users. We've had loads and loads this year. We've had probably about 50 or 60 people go down the beach, and they absolutely love the experience of getting down there. It's something they thought they would never do again. So, once again, thank you very much for the trophy. It's been great, great honour.
had over 200 users, and believe it or not, over 50% of our users have come from outside of the area, come with their families from North Yorkshire, Teesside, Sunderland, to spend the day. So they're coming to the coast, they're bringing revenue to our area because they all stay for food, visit local attractions. So it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
I just want to do a quick plug, and it's just happening just there. We did this last year. We had 108 people in wheelchairs came to the Links, Whitley Bay, on a grim, rainy day. And this year we're doing it again on the 3rd of May, and we're hoping to beat the record, which is 351 wheelchairs. It went much better than we expected. Everybody had a great time. And they really wanted us to do it again. And Stephen here and Andy led the line right round the Links and caused quite a big attraction. And we certainly got on the news. And the news filtered through to Sunderland Council, who are now interested in doing this with us. So it's all happening. We are expanding. We've got Hartlepool and Sunderland and South Shields starting up this year. So it's all happening, and we are expanding. We are a small charity with a big mission. Thank you.
Thank you once again. It's a very worthy cause and well deserved. Thank you. You're free to leave now. I'm sure it'll be much more interesting than staying here. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you. We've received 2 valid questions from members of the public, and as set out on page 3 of the Council agenda papers. 30 minutes is allowed for questions from members of the public, and members of the public have 2 minutes in which to put their initial questions and 1 minute to put any supplementary questions. The person responding has 5 minutes for an initial reply and 2 minutes for a reply to a supplementary question. Any supplementary question must arise directly out of the substantive question or the reply. Question 1 is by Dr. Groom. Do we have him in attendance? Right. Do you want to ask your question or have it taken as read? Thank you.
At a full council meeting on the 22nd of March 2018, North Tyneside councillors unanimously passed the motion which is in your agenda. The council agreed to oppose any proposal to implement the delivery of healthcare in North Tyneside via an accountable care organisation, or now known as integrated care organisation, a project which North Tyneside's CCG's own report was stated to be high risk. As members of Keep Our NHS Public North East, I and many other North Tyneside residents remain extremely concerned that NHS England are forcing local CCGs and local authorities to develop a healthcare system which will ultimately lead to increased privatisation and the demise of the NHS. This system, originally known as accountable care organisations, but now rebranded as integrated care systems, is imported from the United States, where healthcare is multi-tiered, privatised, underpinned by health insurance, and is not equitable, accountable or available based on need. We've noted the subsequent actions of North Tyneside Council's Health and Wellbeing Board. 22nd of August 2018, the Health and Wellbeing Board received a presentation from Mark Adams. The board welcomed the shift in emphasis reflected in the ICS proposals. Since this new direction of travel provided an opportunity, the minutes say, to think and act in a different way, to provide space for better collaboration and to create a shared responsibility for those issues that were too big for individual organisations to tackle on their own. 14th of March, The Chair of the Board thanked Alan Foster for his informative presentation and for answering the Board's questions. She made reference to the inverted hierarchy of service delivery included in the presentation, which placed an emphasis on neighbourhood and place-based commissioning. She believed North Tyneside was well placed to deliver this model. 24th of October, we sent you...
Dr Groom, you have 5 seconds left.
The question is, what evidence does North Tyneside Council have that members have opposed or even raised objections to the ICS?
Thank you. Councillor Hall, would you like to respond?
Thank you. First of all, may I thank Dr Groom for the question. I know our residents are supportive of the NHS and many are keenly interested in how it is run. Secondly, I would like to be quite clear that in common with all of my elected colleagues, members, the Mayor and our MPs, we all have worked hard over a long period to promote and protect health services to the people of North Tyneside. If you have spoken to senior NHS leaders who work with North Tyneside, I'm certain they will confirm that they have felt keenly the accountability we have brought to bear on behalf of our residents. That accountability has consistently demonstrated a focus on serving our local communities and performing as strongly as possible. I'm sure Dr Groom would have spotted, even during this particularly difficult winter, all of our NHS colleagues who have continued to perform better than the rest of the country. In terms of privatisation, as a retired GP, I'm sure Dr Groom has a clear understanding of what the range of commercial arrangements that exist to ensure the NHS can function. It is often lost on the wider public that many of our clinicians operate through a contractual arrangement and are not directly employed by the NHS. In terms of the specifics of your question, I have an enormous body of evidence that demonstrates elected representatives working with the NHS to develop and protect the services for North Tyneside. At this stage, there's been no need to oppose or object to ICS as it relates to North Tyneside residents, because there have been no proposed changes to the services that would raise concern. However, last week at my request as Chair of Health and Wellbeing Board, Sir Jim Mackey of Northumbria Healthcare, Mark Adams of North Tyneside Clinical Commissioning Group and Paul Hanson, our Chief Executive, briefed the board in detail. They specifically focused on the work of the Northern Integrated Care Partnership, which I'm sure Dr Groom will know is the portion of the North East and North Cumbria Integrated Care System that relates to North Tyneside, and the difference it would make to residents. So Jim talked through some clinical changes and some shared innovation with Newcastle's hospitals. Mark talked about the work we're doing together on prevention, and Paul talked about work NHS colleagues are supporting on climate change, local supply, and some excellent plans for the NHS employers to target vulnerable groups and communities for jobs in the NHS. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to publicly thank all the health and social care colleagues who work for the residents of North Tyneside, particularly through a very tricky winter. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall. Do you have a supplementary question? You have 1 minute to answer to...
The councillors in this room provide the only democratic accountability within that local integrated care system. We ask you not to collude with the political decision to dismantle our NHS. The building blocks are now in place. We've got a Tory government for at least 5 years, and they've got the political means to complete the privatisation of the NHS. We've already seen significant amounts. Margaret might call it commercialisation, I call it privatisation, locally around urgent care and out of hours. As a GP, I've witnessed the deterioration of mental health services and had to discuss with parents the only way they'll get services for their young people is if they pay privately. My question is, given that North Tyneside Council appear to be in equal partnership with North Tyneside CCG in developing the ICS, What risk assessments have been carried out specifically by North Tyneside Council officers with regards to the ICS and the possibility of this developing into a private health system which is underpinned by private insurance?
Would you like to respond, Councillor Hall?
Can I assure the group that has come tonight to ask this question that no way would North Tyneside Council agree to any privatisation of any sort in North Tyneside, that we work together, and in working together we get better results than challenging and facing for nonsensical reasons this decision making. We work together with the NHS, we work together with the CCG, and we provide a very good service, or the best service we can, for the residents of North Tyneside.
Indeed, but the long-term plan says that
You've had your supplementary.
can take
Can
those
you ask you
contracts
to?
over.
You've had your supplementary. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Question 2. Mr. Christie is he in attendance? We'll take it as read. Councillor Johnson, I think you're responding to that.
I am. Firstly, can I say I absolutely agree with you. I know Mr. Christie's not here, but children are indeed our future, and yes, they deserve a safe environment to thrive, learn and play. I think it's important to know that already in North Tyneside, well over half of school pupils, around 60%, get to school either on foot or by more sustainable means. In fact, the number of recycled to school reaches 10% at some of our schools. As I'm sure Mr. Christie will be aware, the school run is not something which is isolated as a borough of North Tyneside. There are traffic problems outside of schools up and down the entire country. However, I can not accept the premise that children in North Tyneside are unable to go to and from school safely. Providing safe routes to and from schools has been a top priority for us for some time, and we have a myriad of initiatives to help children get to school safety. This includes using our brilliant team of school crossing patrols, the installation of improved crossing facilities and numerous other physical road safety measures, working extensively with schools to address points of concern, and road safety education and training, which was delivered to over 7,000 pupils in the last year. Our transport strategy in North Tyneside aims to encourage a shift to a more sustainable mode of transport through our design process and through promotional partnership working. It is also clear that we will improve safety for all road users, address road safety concerns and reduce casualties, while at the same time increasing cycling and walking in the borough. We've also produced a travel safety strategy that recognises the parking pressures around schools at peak times can lead to difficulties for residents and children, and it highlights the value of taking part in initiatives around travel safety, including messages around health, air quality and congestion reduction. Our Go Smarter North Tyneside programme is aimed at creating healthy, low traffic neighbourhoods around schools. When we began this programme, we concentrated on the schools where many people were driven to school for short distances, often less than half a mile. Through this programme, we have involved school children in street audits to identify cycle and walking improvements, and we've often delivered those on the ground within the same year. We've also run events such as car-free days, where we encourage children along with their parents to take healthy and active travel to and from school. 2018 was our first full year of our Go Smarter programme, and it helped schools reduce car journeys by as much as 15% in some areas. In March 2019, we took part in a nationwide trial of school streets. In fact, Monks Eaton Middle School was one of only 43 schools in the entire country to take part. This event involved enclosing the streets outside the school to traffic for an hour at the start and end of the school day, creating a safe and enjoyable space to walk, cycle and play. As Mr. Christie rightly recognises, this was welcomed by parents, children and residents. We still wait Sister's evaluation report of this national initiative and in North Tyneside, and as part of the Tyneside Air Quality Plan, we are actively seeking funding from the government to deliver a wider programme of school street type initiatives. If successful, we hope to commence work within this calendar year. I'd like to assure Mr. Christie safe routes to school will remain a top priority for this council, and we will continue to deliver and update our programme of initiatives. We will continue to work with partner organisations to implement measures which will support healthy and active travel to school in the borough. And we are keeping a close eye on the national picture as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. As he's not in attendance, can we just move now on to item 2, apologies. I have received apologies from Councillors Austin, Reynolds and Wheatman. Do we have any other apologies? Councillor Burgess? Councillor Cox.
Councillors Allen, Day, Osborne, O'Shea and Richardson.
Chair.
Councillor Bell.
Councillor Linda Bell.
Okay, and can I ask members to sign the relevant attendance sheet, please? Can we now move on to item 3, declarations of interest? Councillor Cox.
I'd like to declare a disclosable pecuniary interest in item 6 and I will be leaving the meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Cox.
Same for myself, Chair.
Thank you. Any other declarations of interest? Can I just ask you to fill in the relevant sheets? Thank you. Can we now move on to item 4, minutes of the council meeting held on the 28th of November 2019. Can I ask the council to confirm those minutes? Agreed. Agreed, thank you. Can we now move on to item 5, timetable of meetings? Can I ask Councillor Pickard to move the report, please?
It's just the report we bring every year, and obviously it's subject to the committees looking at it afterwards, so I'll just formally move it.
Do you have a seconder? And do we have any questions? No? I'll now invite members to speak to the motion. No? Can I now invite the mover to go to the vote? I think we're going to go to the vote. There's no right to reply. Now we go to the vote. Those in favour, please. Yeah. Okay, can we now move to...
So what that does the first vote in the new year where everybody agreed with.
Isn't that nice? Right. Item 6 now, the council tax empty homes premium agenda. Can I ask Councillor Clinton to move the report, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'm pleased to present this report to Council on council tax empty homes premium. Parliament introduced the Rating, Property and Common Occupation and Council Tax Empty Dwellings Act 2018, which amended powers given to the local authorities and Local Government Finance Act in 1992 to charge a council tax premium for domestic properties that have been unoccupied and unfurnished for a period in excess of 2 years. This action is taken to allow local authorities to determine if they wish to use council tax premiums to discourage owners of properties from keeping them vacant for extensive periods of time. In North Tyneside, as at the 1st of September 2019, we had 460 properties that have been unoccupied and unfurnished for a period in excess of 2 years. The majority of long-term empty properties in North Tyneside are in the lowest band, which is band A, often in a more deprived area of the borough, and if brought back into use could be a useful source for more affordable housing. The authority already has a number of initiatives in place to try to tackle empty homes, and the introduction of the council tax premiums would support these initiatives. Cabinet at its meeting on the 14th of October 2019 authorised the Head of Resources to undertake a consultation on the proposed use of council tax empty homes premiums in North Tyneside. The results of the consultation were presented to the Cabinet on the 25th of November 2019. Council should note the local representatives from the National Landlords Association and North Tyneside Community and Voluntary Sector were in favour of the proposal to introduce the council tax empty homes premium. Landlords did ask the council to ensure that we follow government guidance and exempt a home from the premium if it can be demonstrated that the property is actively being marketed for sale or rent at a reasonable market rate. The result of the online consultation showed that 33 responses, 67%, were in favour of the introduction of the premium, and 16 responses, 33%, were against it. Having noted the results of the consultation exercise and the previous actions agreed by the council to reduce discounts on empty properties to discourage owners from keeping domestic properties empty, I will now ask the council to agree option 1 under point 1.6 of the report, determine that the premiums set out 1.6 of this report were applied across the borough. This will further incentivise and encourage owners of long-term empty properties across North Tyneside to bring the property back into use.
Thank you, Councillor Clinton. Can I now ask Councillor Pickard to second the report?
I formally second and reserve the right to speak.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? No? I now invite members to speak to the motion. Nothing? Oh, this is good. Can I now go to the vote? Can we go to the vote? Those in favour? Another unanimous one. Wait for the councillors Cox to come in. Right, now go to item 7, which is Chair's announcements. It's obviously been a pretty, quiet and busy. It's been quiet in respect to going to events, but there have been lots of Christmas carol concerts and services and things, which was very nice. We held our first indoor Christmas market for the Chair's charities, which raised over £1,000, which was also very good. Citizenship ceremony, and we had a British Empire Medal ceremony, which was hosted here in the Civic Suite, which we awarded 5 members of the region, should I say. There was 4 from the borough, but 1 from outside the borough, which was excellent. And just to say that the tickets for my charity do are going well. There's over 150 being sold. Thanks, Phil. And can I also thank those people who are unable to come to the event for their charitable donations with regards to raffle prizes and money towards the charities. Thank you very much indeed. And we'll now move on to the Mayor's announcements.
At this point in time, you'll be glad to have nothing to say, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Well, I think that must be one of the quickest. End of the meeting. Thank you very much. Have a safe journey home and see you all very soon. Thank you.